Challenge 2 is really around where we locate houses, where we do intensification, where we locate our community facilities such as shopping centres and recreational areas. So they all matter in terms of a transport movement. So the top picture up there basically shows you how Tauranga has developed over time. And so you can see in there that Te Papa is actually some of the oldest growth in Tauranga. But when you actually look at the date of that, I think it's 1959. And there would have been more development in there than just 1959. But Tauranga is quite a young city from that perspective. And so when you look at what's happening on the outskirts, all of that blue is creating for UFTI and for the partners of UFTI quite a significant transport issue, because all of that movement is coming into the centre or to jobs or to parks or to recreational areas. When you also look at where things like Bay Park, Bay Fair, which has the shopping, it has the stadium, Lake Park out at Mount Maunganui, which has the best hockey turf, I'm told, the best basketball courts are out near Bay Park. All of these things kind of there's quite a cross movement from Te Papa and the city, or the old city, to the new city and the new parts of the city. And that's quite fascinating because you can actually see it in the traffic data. The next graph to it is basically saying we're growing, and we're growing quite fast. You're not going to be able to constrain that growth unless you go quite sort of controlling regulatory processes, but it's about where do you put that growth and where do you enable that growth. And that's where being really smart about intensification and putting people in places where they can access jobs and shopping and all the amenities that they want to do is actually a better outcome than putting them all out in the peripheral. The poll visitors, this was the best data that I could get, and it's a bit hard to see on that slide, but it's a full page in the UFTI report. Basically, they did some public surveys of poll visitors, and as it's saying, Bay Wave is on the eastern side of the city, so across the harbour, and that attracts quite a broad number of people from within the city, so they actually travel to Bay Wave. Tauranga City has got plans to improve Memorial Park, which is, I think, an original pool from about the 1950s, and there's quite significant plans to revamp it. And when that happens, you'd expect some of that transport movement to potentially change. So there's less going to Bay Wave and more sort of dispersion around the centre. And hopefully that would then ease some of the pressure on Hewlett's Road. So you can actually see in the transport data that there's quite a significant increase in the volume of traffic going in the afternoon over to Bay Park and Bay Wave than there is sometimes in the morning. We still need to do more number crunching for that. This is the second part of this challenge, which is that top map is around employee density. And so you can see there's quite a concentration in the Te Papa Peninsula of jobs. So the red area is the CBD, the orange blob in the Te Papa Peninsula is the hospital and around the hospital. And then you're also getting sort of some businesses moving further out in terms of the avenues. So you've got a cohabitation job sharing venues such as the Collective and stuff like that that are happening out beyond 11th Ave and 15th Ave, and you're kind of getting apparently the bohemian sort of rejuvenation out that way. You can also see Mount Maunganui around the port area and the sort of that commercial area, quite a significant employment hub in there. And so you've got these employment hubs, but you've also got them further down the coast and out into Bellevue and Brookfield and stuff like that as well. So it's quite a difficult city in the sense that you've got lots of dispersion, but you've also got some concentration. The graph around the percentage of jobs, this is based on model data, and it's basically showing when you're in a car, you've got quite good access to jobs within 30 minutes. When you're in a bus, you've got less access to jobs within 30 minutes. And within a bike, you've also now got less jobs in 30 minutes, as you'd expect. My next slide, well, one of my other slides shows what that is modeled to look like in 2031 without any change. But what's interesting for me is, based on some of the work that was done through the Tauranga Transport Program, there's quite a desire to have more transport options, as shown down the bottom there. And so there is desire to move differently, and it's up to us about improving the transportation to enable people to move and access these different things.